What is going on, percent here, back with another Honkai style guide, and today I'm here with the best units to use in the actual new Apocalyptic Shadow reset. As you are watching this, it did already reset on EU and Asia servers, and it did just reset as this video did come out on NA. So just like the other ones, I'm going to be rapid firing you the best characters to use. So this video is just like the other ones, going to be super fast paced, so buckle up. So I want to say before I get to the video, drop a like, drop a sub at the bottom for future videos like this, and let's get straight into it. So as we do take a look at the actual main buff here, we do see when an enemy unit with Steadfast Safeguard is weakness broken, dispels the control state for all allies and recovers their skill points and will activate their ultimates and will also restore their HP by 50%. And then if we take a look at the buffs on the first half, we do see the first one is Memo Sprite's weakness break efficiency increases by 50%, ignores 20% of the target's defense when Memo Sprite deals damage. Next buff is when characters attack weakness broken enemies, all dots currently applied to the enemies will immediately deal damage equal to 80% of the original damage and will trigger a max of 2 times on each character in a single turn. And the last one is increases the crit damage of ultimate damage dealt by 30% with an additional increase of 30% against enemy targets that are weakness broken. And then for the second half, the first one is increases physical damage dealt by all allies by 50%. When a unit uses a skill, restores 20% of that unit's HP. The next one is follow-up attack damage dealt by characters ignore 15% of the enemy target's all-type res, and can also reduce toughness regardless of the targets that do not have the corresponding weakness, with the effect being equivalent to 50% of the original toughness reduction from the ability. And the last one is increases all enemies break damage taken by 10%. After breaking an enemy's weakness, increases all allies speed by 20% for 2 turns. Now for the best characters on both halves, the first one is none other than Anaxa. Not only do both sides already have weakness for wind, he is quite literally able to implant every single weakness in the game for every element, so anyone on your team will be able to actually help lower toughness. On top of that, you can get a double skill proc with Anaxa, especially if there's only one enemy on the field that can absolutely shred toughness while doing insane amounts of damage. So as a sub-DPS or especially main DPS, he's going to do really good damage. If you have characters like Ron May with him, he's going to shred through toughness even faster, thanks to the fact that his ultimate implants every single weakness, so again, everyone will be getting a benefit from that. He's able to have a double skill proc if they do have 5 or more weaknesses implanted, and you also will be doing more damage to enemies that have those 5 or more debuffs. And on top of the fact he can work as both a main and sub-DPS is why he's going to be great on both halves. As both halves once again have wind weakness, Feixiao is going to absolutely shred through that, especially because she does have the increase to weakness break efficiency by 100% in her ultimate. So her ultimate is going to actually be able to shred through the toughness bar just to make them take as much damage as possible. On top of that, follow-up is going to be really powerful in this one as well, especially on the second half, where you can quite literally take any follow-up, no matter if they're weak to it or not, and lower toughness regardless of type. So that's why Feixiao has a bunch of team options and just a great value overall, which is why she's great. And I'm also good to group her with Topaz because usually we will run them together. Topaz specifically just because both sides are weak to fire, so you're going to get the best benefit out of Numbi attacking. Numbi attacks a lot, so you can lower toughness very quickly. On top of that, having good potential as a sub-DPS and making enemies take more damage from follow-up attacks, especially if you have stuff like the Signature Light Cone, E1 to make even more damage, is why I dump together mainly, but Topaz, if you are running even someone like Feixiao, will do good. I will also mention there's practically going to be no other follow-up attack primarily besides, Hyper Carry. And then obviously when it comes to buffs, so if you don't see a follow-up related on this video but can work with Feixiao, such as I'm not really going to mention Jade in this guide, if you are running on the second half and running with Feixiao, then that obviously does open the option thanks to the buff and with follow-ups being really good on the sides. For the first half, Aglia is going to absolutely tear through Cocolia, not only for the fact that she gets a great buff, but for the fact that she gets to act so many times. With so many times, you get to lower toughness more and more. On top of that, having extremely high damage output in total because of how many times you do get turns. Go into the mode, you get the Enhanced Blast basic attack. Unfortunately, it isn't a skill, so it's not going to benefit fully from the thingy, but you still will get a big buff, thanks to the first half having that good buff from Memo Sprites. And with all the turns, once again, you can get with good damage and good toughness lowering is why she is great. Acheron is also fantastic, having the full AoE ult, so once she does actually activate the pillars, if there's 5 of them on the field, which will be very often, she will practically one-shot the pillars on the side or whoever is on the side, and will allow you to get straight to actually attacking the main boss as well. And then her blast skill does good damage as well. Her toughness isn't the greatest, but she is able to lower toughness regardless of type, but she does have the lightning weakness innate when it does come to the first half, so that's not much of an issue. So she doesn't have the greatest toughness lowering, but still does work well, and so overall is a great option thanks to her damage and being fully AoE. Castress is also going to be fantastic on that first half with the primary quantum weakness as well. having the blast skill, and once you do have Netherwing out, that actual skill becomes fully AoE, which does insanely good damage. With how many times Netherwing can actually get a hit in, you're also able to do good toughness damage at the same time, especially when you do detonate Netherwing, not only doing insane damage but getting the extra bounce, so you do even more, which is why Castrus is also fantastic. Thanks to how many times Cocolia does resummon the pillars and also doing great damage, Lele is actually fantastic for this Apocalyptic Shadow as well, especially since she also does spam skill, so when you do get the kill on the sides, you will get that resurgence proc, giving you an extra turn, and then also having relatively good multipliers to do good enough damage, mainly for the fact that you're able to abuse the actual resurgence procs on this, especially with how much she does summon those pillars, so that's why Zele is also great. For the second half, it does become mainly blast, so Firefly is going to be one of, if not the best to use overall, especially because they already do have innate fire weakness, so implanting isn't really going to be that powerful, but they already have it innate. So you're able to get the full effect, you're able to get a good amount of turns thanks to the big 60 speed increase that Firefly does get in the complete combustion state. Constantly being able to do the blast damage, being able to break really fast, especially paired with other weakness break efficiency sources such as Fugi 1, Ruan Mei, and so on. So with this super break Firefly, she is going to shred through it. Mide may be a bit on the slower side, but he's still going to absolutely be fantastic for this. Just because with the -1 setup, you can still get a lot of turns on him overall. Consuming HP, practically being immortal, and once you are in his state, Kafka will not be able to debuff him whatsoever, or at least what I mean is CC. So Mide is going to constantly be able to go insane. On top of that, make enemies only attack him thanks to his ultimate giving that taunt, so he can get more charge for his actual God Slayer be God. Doing really good damage overall is why he is great. Rappa is also going to be great. It isn't fully AoE on this side, but she still is going to be the super break god for this because they do have innate imaginary weakness as well. You go into the mode, you get the enhanced basic attack, you do the attacks multiple times, and since it is blast, you're able to have the full effect because it's not going to be missing out on anyone on the side. You're going to be able to constantly hit them, as once again it's going to be focused on blast within 3 enemies. So that's why Rappa is going to shine really good on this one. Boat Hill is also going to be fantastic, as the side it does have physical weakness. So the implant is still good, but isn't going to be a necessity because they already do have physical weakness. With the enemies on the side, you are able to actually stack up the pocket trick shot. It's going to be a bit more difficult, but once you do have it stacked, you're able to shred through Kafka, shred through any extra enemies on the side as well, which is why he is also going to be really good. Gildan is also great. You get the counter, you time the actual ultimate, you get into a call, you do really good damage, and if they do actually land the bounce on the right enemy a lot of times, can also do great toughness damage. So the only thing is, when you do break them, you want to kill them as fast as possible because they no longer will be able to attack you, meaning Gildan will not be able to actually have any more counters. So once you do break them, you want to make sure you kill fast as possible with spamming her skill. And if you do mess up one of the ultimates, you do have the safety net, which is why she is also great. Ratio is also going to work good. Again, follow-ups on this half is going to be great, but they also do have imaginary weakness innate, and he is able to do very, very well, especially as a hyper carry on the follow-up main team with Topaz and so on. With the debuffs, you're able to easily apply debuffs on a follow-up team. If you're running a hyper carry with another debuffer, it's going to work. He's going to do really good damage. He's able to benefit from the actual buffs. You spam skill with him and do good damage overall, which is why he is also really good for this. March is also going to be great, mainly as the actual Topaz slot instead of running Topaz herself. You can honestly argue that she would be good in both halves as well because she can be. But I definitely think she's going to shine definitely on the second half more. With the buff, she is able to provide the Shifu with the speed, actual good damage. You have the ultimate to enhance, and once you do get that actual enhanced basic attack, you're able to do the big damage with that. Doing also good toughness damage, which is why she is also good paired with another follow-up attacker. For debuffers, overall, Jiaoqiu is going to be absolutely fantastic, as he practically is going to be able to lower toughness as both sides do have fire weakness. You throw up the ult, then it's going to be out. Enemies are going to be taking more damage because it does stack Ash and Roast, which makes them have the general vulnerability proc in his talent. And if you are usually pairing them with someone like Acheron, which you would, you have the ultimate vulnerability, which also works great with someone like Yunli as well. So anyone you are dealing ultimate damage to is going to take even more damage thanks to this actual unique debuff he does have, and overall is a great debuffer to use. Payla is also great. It's very easy to have her expose debuff for the 40% defense shred. With an ER rope, Ego said it's very easy to keep up uptime on this when you do have it. So anytime the enemies get killed and they refresh, eventually she summons new pillars and stuff, you can very easily get this back in time, which is why she is also going to be great. For Harmony supports, no shocker, Tribi is probably going to be the overall best one you practically use on any team that isn't break. From providing you all-type res pen, making enemies take more damage, increasing damage dealt you would do overall just because you do have additional damage proc of Quantum. On top of that, being a fully AoE follow-up attack character at the same time thanks to her talent anytime you do ult, with someone else, along you do have the charge, and with having one of the most commonly owned E1s in the game, giving you access to true damage, even without the E1, she's going to be providing great damage amp, and then with the E1, it's practically the best damage amp in the game. On top of that, also helping you wiggle down enemies because she does do a lot of good damage with the follow-up attack, which is why she is fantastic, if not the best. Robin is great, excels the follow-up attacks, but can be used practically anywhere that isn't break or HP scalers. The skill giving everyone 50% damage out, the ultimate giving everyone another turn, so that's going to be even more times you can actually lower toughness. On top of that, providing a massive attack increase, increasing everyone's crit damage, and also increasing crit damage dealt by allies. And on top of that, increasing crit damage dealt by allies follow-up attacks by 25%, is why overall she's going to excel on these follow-up teams, but she can once again be used anywhere that isn't a HP scaler or a break team, and in any of those other cases, she is going to be one of the best. Ron May, absolutely broken in this moment because she provides 50% weakness break efficiency. No matter what DPS it is going to love that in this mode because you're able to shred way faster. Excels in break teams, works anywhere, because to top that all off, she does get a increase for your team for damage dealt, which gets further amplified by one of her traces. She also gives everyone all-type rest pen in her ultimate, which is also enabling the fact that you can re-break enemies. So if you somehow don't kill after breaking enemies the first time, if they do recover, you'll have that re-break, which is going to be good. And on top of that, she does increase everyone's speed by 10%. So that can allow you to hit more breakpoints for more turns as well. Sunday is also fantastic. -1 speed build, hyper speed build. He is great. The damage dealt buff you do get from his skill is great. If they have a Memo Spray, it gets further amplified, so pairing him with someone like Aglia is super powerful. Ultimate is able to restore energy, so anyone that has normal energy would definitely benefit from that, as it does allow you to ult more. On top of that, provides him a massive crit damage buff, so anytime they do crit is going to provide a lot more damage. And on top of that, also does apply crit rate, increased by 20% when using skill on that ally, so it allows you to build less crit rate and focus more on crit damage, attack, or HP, whatever you're using, and will allow you to guarantee crits for more overall damage. Also does have the cleanse thanks to one of his bonus abilities, and if you do have his E1, which is also very commonly owned, you get a big defense ignore for member spreads and a defense ignore for general characters, which is also going to be great and is why he is also fantastic to use. RMC also really good for the fact that you're able to have a sub-DPS capability, increase allies crit damage based off their own. With the mem support, able to give that person you do buff an extra turn, so that's going to be more toughness you can lower, and access to true damage as well. So every damage instance you do is going to do even more damage based off the original damage, which is why they are also great to use. Grouping Harmony, MC, and also Fugue together, they are super break enablers. Harmony MC is able to give a break effect increase as well in the ultimate, having a slightly better super break conversion instance, which this is going to be primarily if you are doing a super break setup, which is going to be for every break character or specific shenanigans. On top of that, these characters are able to actually lower toughness good on their own, and then Fugue on the other hand is able to provide defense shred and also a buff that also increase the actual break effect of the person you do buff. To top it all off, with the help of Cloudflame Luster in Fugue's actual talent, you're able to have a second bar to actually break, which is going to be even better for more damage. And she does have a fully AoE ultimate, so that's going to be good for lowering toughness, which is why both of these characters are great. For sustains, Hyacinth is going to be absolutely broken for the damage she can do. Fantastic sustain capabilities with good healing. And as both sides are innately weak to wind, you're able to lower toughness as well. Have the ultimate, you're increasing everyone's max HP to make them more tanky as well. Once again, doing good damage with the help of Ika. So being able to make your allies more tanky or stronger depending on what team you are using, with the fact she can increase max HP, do good damage on her own, and also be able to lower enemies' toughness is why she is practically the best sustain to use. Aventurine is also fantastic, making it to where you practically will have a shield that will never break. On top of that, you have a debuff to give the main boss, which will make them take 15% increased crit damage, and is also a fantastic sub-DPS thanks to his follow-up attack and overall damage potential he does have. And with that follow-up, you can slightly regenerate your shield, so you practically never do need to use a skill, especially if you have the E1. If you have Z1, then you really never have to use a skill, which is why overall he is super good. Length is going to be insane, practically makes it to where you don't die either just because you have so much healing. Has AoE cleanse, which is great, and if you are running her on a super break team or even her as a super break DPS, she is going to absolutely shred. On top of that, she is able to make enemies take increased break damage, so that's going to be fantastic for your break DPS or her herself, which is why she is super good. Gallagher also super good, also has a weaker version of that break damage increase with the 12% rather than 25%, is able to provide offensive healing, so you're actually able to heal based off doing damage thanks to one of his bonus abilities. And on top of that, ulting, you will get another turn, which is going to help you lower toughness even faster, which is why he is also super good. Wolfo was also fantastic as she provides enough healing. She does have a cleanse, and she's especially able to increase allies attack by 40% and also increase 20% of their maximum respective energy, so helping you ult more, always going to be good. 40% attack increase. Anyone that benefits from attack will love that, so you're going to have a budget harmony character in a sustain, which is why she is also super good. Now for practically where to take what buff. For the first buff, you're going to be taking this if you are running Aglia or Castress primarily, as they will be the main DPSs for their Memo Sprites, and it's going to be absolutely broken in that first half, and this is going to be great, because now the Memo Sprites will not only allow you to ignore 20% of the target's defense, you're also getting the weakness break efficiency. The second one is if you are just taking a Dot setup, which I didn't mention in this video because Dot may be getting this buff, but it's still not that great. So any Dot setup, you take the second one, and the last one will practically be for anything else. For the second half, the first one you're practically going to use with primarily Yunli. Yunli is really the only one that's going to make use of this first one. The second one is going to be for any source of follow-up setups you are doing. Any follow-up setup will be using the second one. And the last one will be for any break-related characters, so Buto, Firefly, Rappa, and so on. And if that is the full thing, the best characters to use, I know very fast paced, but I did warn you at the beginning. But be sure to comment down below what you did use to give others even more ideas on what they should use. As this video does talk about the best characters to use, but is obviously not all of them. There's going to be a lot more characters with specific setups you can do. So commenting down below what you may use may help more people that may not have a lot of the characters in this video. So again, feel free to comment. I'll see you later. Peace out.